Afro Fish OG.
My goodness, something's going on with my mic. I swear, like it just mutes up whenever the. All right, there we go.
All right, now we're in business.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
I'm not touching anything. I'm not moving anything.
All right, we're good.
All good. I don't know what's going on. What's going on, Kojima? I see you down sitting in there down on TikTok side. But yeah, welcome to another edition of Afro in the Know, where hopefully we don't have any more mic issues. Again, I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sorry. Hopefully this gets better. If not, I'm gonna have to crash out just a little bit. But today, I got Jolly Yellow Nerd with me today. And I gotta say, how's it going?
I'm here, man. That's all I could be right now. That's it. Like, you have to survive this grind just like everybody else is doing.
Man, I feel that. Like that's the I just got done from work and I don't want to. Like I'm ready to crash shit, man.
Right. I mean, I did just finish work like an hour and a half ago, and I've had the little with me, so it's almost like I didn't stop working.
That's fair. That's fair, especially with like content, any kind of content creation. Like you just leave one job to go to another job,
right?
And don't make it any easier.
And all blends together.
All for I think that I joke about this because I'm like, I do this all just for like 3 likes.
Right. That's what it feels like sometimes. It's like, yeah, I just did like 3 hours worth of work for like 4 likes.
Yeah, it's like I got 4 likes, then I'm like, okay, that's fine, I guess. That's how I feel right now, like playing Crimson Desert. Like, I don't know if you played that yet.
No, I have not got my hands on it, and it looks. I don't know how many more of them open world games I got in me. the big open world games where you can do some of everything, and I've seen some of the clips by other folks playing it, and like this guy is like doing wrestling moves, ninja moves, like Mortal Kombat moves. He's doing like some of everything all over the place, and I'm just like. Maybe I might go pick it up on sale like next year.
That's fair. It's a lot. Like I'm still working through it, and I feel like every time I'm like, I mean, I can see the goodness. I'm enjoying the game. Like I put that video out a little while ago, saying that like I'm just not feeling it at the time, and I've been putting through it, and it's all right. Like there's stuff I've been enjoying, but it's one of those where I'm like, I like it, I don't love it. Like I'm having fun with it. I just don't like adore this game. This game isn't gonna go down as like one of my favorite games of all time, but it's fun.
See, that's what I've been curious about. I'm wondering, like, how is the game of the year picture conversation gonna look? Like, because I mean, I know that makes you groan. That makes you groan.
It just turned April, my guy. You can't be saying that.
I know that. But the reason I say it now is only because, for the sake of, if you wait until later in the year, stuff that came out earlier in the year will probably be forgotten because of like the recency bias, the ooh shiny, and if we get GTA 6 as they intended. So it's just like, that's why I don't mind having game of the year conversations like every time a major game comes out, because we're gonna slowly forget them. Like, and for good, bad, or worse, I mean, like when we get to like October, will people still be talking about Crimson Desert?
That's fair. And that's the thing too. Like very few games can stick around for a long haul, especially like in the like turns like the first quarter of the year. You know, like I know the only one I think last year with Expedition 33 sat with that through the entire year. People were like, "Oh, this is already going to be game of the year," blah blah blah, and obviously it was. I think of 2022 with Elden Ring.
Right. Yeah,
Like Elden Ring dropped, so it's possible,
right.
but it's not. I don't know. Like like because everybody. Everybody, I want to let people know this. I want people, y'all know this. You got people in the chat. I want to let y'all know this. I do not personally like Game of the Year conversations. I'm not a big Game of the Year conversation person, and a lot of times, reason why I'm not a big Game of the Year conversation person isn't that it can't be fun, but it leads to some of the most hinged fucking shit ever.
You're completely right about that. That's a valid complaint about Game of the Year conversations. Like, people can get really crazy, especially when it comes to their favorite. They get that favorite in mind, like, I want this game to be Game of the Year, and then mess around and something else win, and they go crazy. So I don't blame you on that.
Oh, it's insane. You're absolutely correct. Like, it's like the need to have my game beat Game of the Year, and it's just like my games were good. I had some really good ones. It was fine. I was happy with it. I was okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't need every game to be this Game of the Year. And I'm like, some games are just good, bro.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. Like, every game doesn't have to be a Game of the Year contender for it to be fun, good, and enjoyable. Like, yeah, you're right on that. And again, yeah, people will get unhinged when you start talking about their favorite. You point out the criticisms of why their favorite game might not be, gaudy material. People go crazy.
Yes. Dude, absolutely. Like, and that's the thing. Like, okay, so the only game that deserves Game of the Year every year, obviously, is Hello Kitty Island Adventure. But like, because that game is Game of the Year every year. But like when I look and see the people who talk so much about Game of the Year, they're like, dude, this if my game isn't winning Game of the Year, then like it's bullshit or it's rigged. And I'm like, dude,
right?
Why do you give a fuck? Like, I have my games that I made a video up last year, right? Or not last year, but like early this year, about like my favorite games of 2025, right? And I just ranked all my games of 2025, like not in any particular order, but just giving them a ranking out of 10, how much I enjoyed them, and moved on. I gave games like a game about digging a hole just as much as like some other higher rated games, because it was just fun. It was a fun game.
That's all a game needs to be.
No, like, if you're enjoying the game, have the fun.
Yeah,
enjoy with yourself.
I do think people put too much validation into winning awards, being critically acclaimed or highly acclaimed or anything like that. Like, what was the year? The year Black Myth Wukong came out. I forgot.
2024, yeah.
I forgot what game actually won, but people like the Black Myth Wukong fan base. Astrobot, that's what it was. And they were mad for months after that, hollering about, Astrobot didn't deserve it. It's just a dinky little platformer. Like, most of us ain't sitting here playing video games these days, largely because of a certain plumber that was running around on platforms. But yeah. And
no, you're so correct.
But yeah, you're right. It's just it gets crazy. It gets unhinged. I'm like, guys, the one time you need to be able to say it's not that deep, because it's really not.
Yeah, no, exactly. Of all the times to say it's not that deep, it's when these kind of games come out and you're just like, dude, is this Game of the Year? It reminds me of like if you ever watch like ESPN and like I don't know, Patrick Mahomes has like a good like game, right? He has like a 3-touchdown game, like first or second game of the year. Bro, are we already seeing MVP status right now? Are we gonna see the MVP? Like, that's what you all sound like. Y'all sound like just worse versions of Stephen A.
Worse versions of Stephen A.
Like,
that is crazy. But yeah, they do that. They do that.
and it's nutty. But for also, I appreciate this is the new intro, I guess. But like, for Jolly Yellow Nerd, I want to let you have the floor here real quick. Let everybody know what you're about, because I feel like I took too much time.
That's fine. That's right. That's no problem there. But myself, I am just an old nerd. I've been running most of the gamut. I'm tinker with computers, watching anime, playing video games, getting into this thing, getting into that thing. And it's just been like, what was it? I would say probably early COVID. I finally decided, like, you know what? After years of people saying, like, I always hear someone say, like, oh, if you don't like it, well, why don't you go and make your own channel, do your own thing, and say your own stuff? So it's like, that's not a bad idea. And I just kind of went through with it. And I've just been to get out there and talking to the ether and have people occasionally talk back. And it's fun to interact with folks. It's fun to be able to have a conversation about this movie, this game, this thing, or that thing. And it's just been slowly growing up from there. For the last year or so, I've actually been trying to work up my presence on can we actually say the names of other apps? I don't know.
Yeah, you can on this one. Yeah, you can.
Okay, cool. Because I've been trying to build up a YouTube presence for the last year or so. So that's where a lot of my activity has been at. So, over on YouTube there. And the main thing that I'm doing is I'm digging kind of below the surface of science fiction movies and shows, to where it's like, hey, everybody's watched Interstellar. I'm sure people are running to go see Hail Mary right now. You talk about Star Wars, Star Trek, like the quintessential stuff that everybody knows. But then you've got a lot of interesting movies and shows that people have either they kind of had their little bit of heyday and then they went quiet, or they were low budget so no one talked about them, or they were really cheesy but may have had some good things going on. So I've kind of turned my head towards digging through that the last couple of years. Like a couple nights ago, this is probably gonna be the next thing I work on, so preview, I guess. I was watching a movie with Elizabeth Olsen. She's Scarlet Witch in the MCU, movie called The Assessment, in which the government heavily regulates reproduction. So if a couple wants to have a baby, they actually have a government assessor come out to them, to their home, and live with them for 7 days to assess them and determine, are they fit to have a child? So of course, that goes very much into the exactly like the rights of reproduction and government overreach, and even getting into the psychological effects of being an assessor. So it kind of brings all those things in there, and just examining those concepts through science fiction is always going to be something interesting. The morality, the ethics, who do you really, should we have the right to do that stuff? Or, maybe some things are best left alone. Like, Jeff Goldblum said in Jurassic Park, some people get so focused on what they could do, they don't think about what they should do, or however that quote went. And
no, that's correct. But yeah, it could and should, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that. And this is like,
that's creepy.
Yeah, right. Just imagine that, like you and your partner, you want to have a baby, but you have to basically get government permission to have a baby.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Right. And that's definitely gonna hit like a spot with, like, obviously, there's no women right here now, but if one of them were to watch that movie, that's definitely going to hit home with them, because reproductive rights and what how they're kind of under attack and under fire these days of women out here that are trying to get proper health care and they can't because of government regulation BS nonsense. So I just like watching those concepts, in TV and in movies, but it sucks that some of that stuff seems to be getting close to becoming real. So
yeah, and I think that's like when I hear people talk about, like, this feels like an episode of Black Mirror, and I've never seen Black Mirror, but like from what I've heard, this feels like an episode of it. Or like people kind of compare like what's going on to like The Handmaid's Tale, which I haven't seen The Handmaid's Tale, but I've heard it's really good. But it is like a science fiction, especially like can delve into horror. Like science fiction can easily delve into horror, especially where there's like you mentioned, the fact of a woman's body just being the government saying, "Hey, you can't have kids no more because we don't like the way that your system is set up," or whatever, is so crazy to even think about. But I mean, even if I and I could be wrong on this, but it feels like all science fiction is based on something, like based on some sort of reality that we have to deal with. And it is oh man, like there's so many. It's creepy, dude. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I think there was one I wanted to watch. What was it? I forgot what it was called, but it was like the dude was going. He's under arrest, I think it is, and he has to like prove his. It's a Chris Pratt movie. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
but, like,
Mercy. Okay, I haven't watched it yet, but yeah,
where he has to
like
prove himself to an AI, and that alone already kind of hits home because half the time you're listening to some sort of AI, when it's trying to deal with like health features. But now imagine a judge with a defective AI trying to tell you, like that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, to that point where this kind of reminds you of Minority Report from years and years ago. It's like, imagine where your life is in the hands of an AI, where an AI gets final absolute say over whether you live or die. And now, of course, people are going to start questioning, well, what if the AI is wrong? And of course, that commercial for Mercy gives that impression, is that the AI is actually wrong, but how do you prove the AI wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And when that happens, like you just gotta say, "Oh, guess I'm dying." Like I saw,
right? What do you do?
I saw a dude on YouTube. I was talking about it in a live yesterday or the day before, and this guy talks about horror. He talks about horror in multiple different ways. He actually says Passengers is a horror story.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think I've seen that.
And I thought it was really interesting that he mentioned that Passengers was a horror story, because like, you don't think about it as a horror story, but like the fact of this dude woke up in a ship and then talks to the only other being not being, but like a robot AI, and then he, just because he loves some woman, he woke her up from hypersleep. Like that is horrid. Yeah, like your life is done. Like you're never going to see that planet that y'all were flying to.
Right. Selfish isn't even a strong enough word for that. I mean,
no. And then the dude basically just gaslights her into the fact of trying to be with her.
Right. And it's like, yeah, that's not the I just had to have some company. You're the one that I'm interested in, and I want you to I wanted to be with you and just you. And like, and again, like you said, like we're gonna be dead before we get to that destination, because I think the trip is like 100 years or something like that, and they're already in like their 30s. So it's like, yeah, there's no way she's gonna make it to the destination planet. And he basically burned away the rest of her life because he likes her. Yeah. So yeah, from her perspective, yeah, it is a horror movie.
Yeah,
from his perspective, it's a love story. From her perspective, it's a horror movie.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, I think that's so. It's interesting when you look at like how different. Obviously, like this is something big. It's just different perspectives can teach that kind of a horror movie. And like I was when I was watching Sinners, fantastic movie. But I was feeling really uncomfortable when like Reddick, I think his name is like dancing, and like all the black people are just dancing around him, and it felt like such like a Pied Piper kind of feel.
Yeah.
That I was just, except for Cornbread, who can't dance worth shit because that man is big as fuck. But like
Man, Lee Corn a little man.
Yeah, and it was such a horrid, like a
Uh,
horrible, like
mm,
scary thought, and it did lead to the fact of like different horror can act depending on if you're a woman, if you're black, if you're white, if you're if you I don't know about Asian horror, but Asian got some scary ass horror. I'm not gonna lie, they just love to torture the fuck out of people.
look, I'll tell you this, man. Like, what scares me the most when it comes to like Asian horror, if it involves school children, that it's gonna be it's gonna be something else. I used to jokingly say, like, if I move to Asia, I'm not sending my children to school because I swear it feels like they're just like all those like horror movies and things about the students that like they took their own lives and now they're haunting the school, or some malevolent spirit attacks the kids while they're on a school trip. I'm like, yeah, Asian horror is something else.
Oh no, exactly. Kojima here. I read the best thing about Sinners from the Onion. It says Sinners is about the Americas. I'm missing just it's a typo. America's ability to talk about our racist past without bringing up the Irish. It was tied. That's true. It's true though. Like, I mean, because Reddick, I believe, is Irish too. So it's like,
That's right, he was, yeah.
yeah. And so it's at the end, and that's the thing is like I've been really appreciating more when it comes to horror movies of what they're trying to actually say. Because I think it is hard sometimes for a lot of people to sit there and understand what's going on with horror movies.
Yeah.
I was watching, I don't know if you saw the movie Him.
I have not seen Him yet. I've heard about it, though.
It's the football one. And I like my friend was like, well, I don't get this or whatever. And I'm like, of course you don't. Like, one, you don't play the sport. Like
Right.
you don't play this sport. I don't expect you to get this. But at the same time, like it's at the same time, Him is definitely big when it comes to what it's trying to talk about football. It tries to bring up CTE. It tries to bring up like who actually runs when it comes to it. There's a lot that it tries to bring up. It doesn't always do a good job. I'm not gonna lie to you. It doesn't really do a good job.
I need to get back to watching that.
Yeah. At least it does. And speaking of which, like bringing it back around again, like sci-fi, like you mentioned, does this very kind of thing. I saw someone say, and you might agree with me on this, that Star Wars, especially the prequels, is a really interesting fall for Anakin into the red pill pipeline.
I've seen that take before, and I can appreciate why somebody would try to make that argument, but I think in order to fully suit that take, I guess like if you look at Anakin's younger life, where he literally grew up as a slave. I think it said like he was born, well, his mother was already a slave, so he was born in captivity or literally born into slavery. And at the same time, those types of people that end up going down those hateful pipelines and going into those hate movements or whatever, I don't think a lot of them have quite the traumatizing, hurtful circumstance of, but I do believe some of them genuinely do, and they end up that makes them vulnerable to being led astray. But I think a lot of them, some of them probably genuinely were already hateful, and they were just looking for a place they could get a free pass on being hateful. But I do think there may be some out there where they were hurt real bad. They didn't have any help. They didn't get the support that they needed. And that allowed for some other force to get in there and like seduce them and groom them and influence them. And the next thing you know, they're a terror. So I can agree with that analogy being used for some of them. It's like,
yeah, I don't think it fits everything, but there's definitely, I think when you look at it through those lenses, you can see it. Like you can see the route that it's leading to. That sort of like one way or the like, kind of like a very black and white. Because Anakin seems to also have a very black and white mindset, but
He did, yeah.
it also comes along with a lot of blowing smoke up his own ass. Like,
Right.
like I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm gonna have someone in like I can't wait for someone in the comment section to like give me just like a fucking 3-page.
Right. But I would like to introduce something else to that. Then, if we're gonna say something like Anakin's fall to the dark side being similar or analogous to Red Pill, going into Red Pill or
Yeah.
whatever. Well, with the way people talk about how the Jedi were slack and kind of full of their own hubris, could we say that like the way the Jedi were kind of so prideful, were almost they pretty much believe they couldn't be wrong? Could you say that that is similar to people who miss the red pill pipeline, that they don't see those Anakins going into the pipeline because they're just so sure of them being right? They just kind of assume like there's no way they could possibly fall to the pipeline. Like, I don't know, like I was wondering if there's any other like analogs to that to kind of examine.
Yeah, actually, you could see it, and you can see it anytime you watch a show like Hoarders or watch a show like a Doctor, no, not Dr. Phil at the time, but like you'd see a mother who is like, I just can't imagine my kid doing this, when the signs are just all there, and they're like, like Jeremy was such a good kid, like he never did anything wrong. I don't know where he got this idea
Right.
of like, of doing just horrid stuff. Like my son would never be a racist, okay? Like he even grew up around black people. He had a black friend one time in 3rd grade. Like
right. Meanwhile, he's 19 years old and he's in with like the local chapter of white nationalists.
Right. Yeah. No, it's so exactly like they blew smoke because they were so up in arms on like not being like, well, he's he's the chosen one. That I'm 100% convinced on that. Then the fact of just knowing that this dude is troubled.
Right. And they just, it's like some of them, they just couldn't believe that, oh, we might need to take a different approach to this. And I don't know, there's a whole, I guess if you were to start with the point of Anakin being seduced by the dark side as some sort of analogy for falling into red pill ideology, then you could branch out from there. It's like, well, what would that make the Jedi Council? What would that make the Republic?
Yeah, they'd be enablers. They were enablers,
right?
Like,
and do like the internet culture war. Is that going to be something to the effect of the Clone Wars? And you could work all that out, I'm sure. But I can agree. Like, yeah, Anakin's fall of the dark side can be analogous to someone falling into red pill ideology or mentality, I guess.
And what's interesting is like you look at someone like Obi-Wan, who Obi-Wan was very much the same like that. He'd be someone too that was kind of an enabler. He was like, oh, Anakin's messing up, but he would just let it go.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan, he was the big brother that did the best he could. Like Anakin needed a solid parental figure, and that's why some say, like, if Qui-Gon Jinn had lived, he possibly could have saved Anakin from turning to the dark side, because then Qui-Gon would have been the parental figure that Anakin would have needed, and Palpatine probably wouldn't have been able to get away with grooming him if Qui-Gon was still there. Whereas, like you said, Obi-Wan did his best, but Obi-Wan was barely a Jedi Knight himself when he took on Anakin. So, so it's not like Obi-Wan was a certified teacher when he took on Anakin, but they council bent the rules and did their thing that has the best damage control. And
it's kind of sad too, because like you watch is a man who's just tossed back and forth, has no clue really what to do, because he doesn't get a chance to really breathe and think. And every time he's about to, something kind of pulls him somewhere else. Whether it's Sidious pulling him somewhere, Obi-Wan pulling him somewhere else, Padme's pulling him a different direction, and it was going to crash at some point. When a person's not allowed to sit there and actually think about the actions that they're taking, when you get in my point of view, the Jedi are evil, and it's like, even if it's illogical, it for some reason the logic just hits for him. It might not make sense to a person who's already past that, but for him it does. And that's why also I think for someone like Ahsoka, it's such an interesting thing, because she had her version of, she was framed, she could have fallen like that too. Especially the way that they treated her afterwards. Like, she was like, nah, fuck y'all.
Right. Which, and I think there's probably a good, I would probably say the reason Ahsoka ended up, did not follow a similar path along Anakin is, I think that her being framed, I think it was, she was framed. She was framed for a crime that she didn't commit. And that was like a single event, like blip moment in her life, as in relation to everything else she'd already done. Where on the other hand, Anakin, his was a slow burn, like you said, from him being a child slave to being pulled into the Jedi life to being pulled into the Clone Wars, because I think he was a teenager, I think, right during the Clone Wars.
Something like that, yeah.
Right. When you think about, like, even under the best circumstances, like let's say here in America, you go through teenage puberty. That's already enough for a teenager to go through. You go mess around and drop them into a serious situation like that, where you've got the mix up of being a teenager, the mix up in thoughts about being force sensitive. You've met somebody that you're in love with, then you throw an interstellar war on top of all of that. It's like you said a minute ago, the boy barely had time to breathe when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
Whereas Ahsoka, at least thankfully, I guess, her upbringing was definitely better than Anakin. She was actually a free child, and then she gets tied up into the Jedi stuff and all that. But I mean, it is possible. I mean, if Ahsoka had been under similar long-term circumstances like Anakin, who knows? Maybe the accusation or the frame up of those crimes would have been enough to turn her to the dark side. So
it could have been. Born in trauma, saved by trauma, tossed into trauma. Yeah. That's a really good way to put it. Like, he just wasn't allowed to even exist as Anakin. It was, everything was either you're chosen one, you're this, you're Vader, you're something. And by the time that he finally made his own choice, granted, it cost him his life, but he saved his son in the process. And I think that's just, it's something. It's sad in a way, and that's why I kind of loved, like, the fact that Luke was just like, nah, bro, like, I'm not about that life.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I do understand some people having some care, concern, or sympathy for Anakin Skywalker, because he did have a rough life. Yes, he made his choices and became Darth Vader, and reign of terror across the galaxy for 20 some odd years as Darth Vader. He did. Anakin Skywalker was the architect of his own hell, to be sure. But it's still, when you look back at his entire life as a whole, you almost can't help but feel a little something for him. It's like, geez, man, that's terrible situation.
You could empathize with his upbringing and then not be able to, like, yeah, your actions are fucking horrid.
Right, exactly.
Like, and I think a lot of that's something I don't think a lot of Star Wars fans can do. Like,
a lot of them seem to not be able to. It feels like the whole Anakin Skywalker thing is so polarizing. Like, some folks will act as if Anakin Skywalker did absolutely nothing wrong, and then some will act like he has been the scourge of the universe since he was that little boy in the pod racer. It's but to me, it's just like, yeah, he never really had a chance.
No, he didn't. And when you look at other other characters throughout like Star Wars as well. Not, I mean, especially during the fact that these this universe can't live with like 30 seconds without someone being like, "I'm blowing up planets," and like, whether it's whether it is, you know, the First Order. If there's an invasion, you know, I think was it Ujong Vong.
Yeah, from
Like,
Victor Prime, yeah.
you know, like someone's trying to take over something. Like nobody lets this universe just be like, hey, like
right.
I'm literally just trying to put gas in my fucking speeder bike, and I can't do that because I got a war going on above my head with giant pizza-shaped fucking ships raining hell down.
Right. You
Like,
just trying to go to work. You just trying to
dude, my
make
work
it
was
home.
still the whole time like, hey, I just found out they want me to like, they want to train me to be like a Jedi or something. They'd be like, yeah, but you still coming to work? Yeah, I'll make sure I'm there.
Right. You're responsible for covering your shifts.
Right. Like it's like when I look at like a core, like, you know, like Coruscant or something, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know how the fuck I even get to work because all the buildings look alike.
Right. Where do you even go?
Like, you imagine being the first people at the job, and then like as you're driving, you're like, bro, I can't fucking stand this day, and then here comes Anakin just falling out of the sky, and be like, I fucking hate this place.
Right. It's like something about to blow up. Somebody's about to get murdered. Yeah, close calls all around.
For no, yeah, like everybody, like either your best friend is probably some sort of bounty hunter. You just don't want to talk about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like Star Wars would be hell to live in if you are not. I can't even say if you're a Jedi. Like if you're a Jedi, it'd be even more hell because now I got pissed off dudes wearing like goth clothes running around to hit me with red sticks.
Right. You got angry emo Jedi's chasing, or angry emos coming after you all the time. Like
you know, what is it? Darth Nihilus. Like if I'm like, imagine like you sitting there, like you trying to like take a shit, and you like walk out of the bathroom stall, and you just see this fucking like formless thing just floating past you, and be like, is he finally going after Jerry?
Right. He's just walking down the hallway looking for the right cubicle.
He's just like, I just work here, man. Like,
I don't know this guy. Just go that way. Just go to HR, man. Just go to
HR. My job would be like, so why didn't you save a residence? Like, oh no, there was a whole Jedi fight. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Right. Like I saw one guy pick up a building and drop it on your house, man. What was I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with that?
That's how I feel with superheroes, though. The superheroes are the same way. Any kind of superhero, like it's like why do you? I don't want to live in this world. Like it sounds cool, sure, being in Marvel's universe, yeah, but like. First of all, there ain't no. I don't think there's any Marvel hero that lives in like rural Wisconsin. So like, I'm not getting any fucking superpowers. Like there's no meteors are crashing to give me powers. They ain't doing no atomic waste. I'm gonna get bit by some radioactive cow, and like,
oh, that would be terrible. You got the powers of a cow. Yeah, like radioactive.
Yeah, imagine cow. Like they call me brown cow. And like,
yeah, that's all you got going for you. You can make your own milk somehow. I don't know.
Go.
Oh, I was gonna say, when you first started talking about superheroes, the first thing I thought about was what's the meme where it's like you just finished paying off your car just so you can watch the Hulk throw it at somebody and miss. And it's like,
oh my god, yeah,
I literally just signed into the portal and made my last payment this morning. I haven't even gotten the title yet.
Dude, could you imagine like during a fight, right? During a fight, you just watching like oh, I don't even want to go into work today, and then here comes like Scarlet Witch smashes into your car, and you're just like, yo, Jerry. Yeah, it happened again.
Right, like, and then you've got like, who's cleaning that stuff up, man? Who's cleaning all that up? Like I know, like in Marvel, there's actually an organization called Damage Control, and that is their purpose. They clean up
And
after
I want a
superhero
TV show
battles.
based off of Damage Control. I think that'd be funny as fuck.
Right? Yeah.
Do that shit in like Parks and Rec or like an office like setting.
That would be hilarious. It would be. It's like
watching a dude like wiping off all like the webbing from like Spider-Man and just sprouts another one. Fuck you.
right. Walks around the corner and there's like a whole side of the building covered in it, and it's just like what do
then
you
like
do?
it shows like Spider-Man on camera and he's like, yeah, I do that on purpose.
It's like like I was saying, I've seen that guy. I don't like him, and I know he cleans up my webbing, so I do it on purpose. I had no reason to fire all that webbing. I did it just for him.
Have the dude like, they're like, why do you keep doing it to that guy? So that's actually the shocker. He knows that I keep doing this on purpose. It just
right. Like, we know each other. Like you're dealing with the Fantastic Four, and there's like stuff that everything's on fire. You walk into a room and like everything's on fire, and you're just like, God damn it, Johnny. Because he's just flying through, burning everything. There's like
I need a
scorch marks on the sides of buildings.
Like, so what happened? So there was a bunch of robbers, and he's like talking with his boss of why he was late, and then like squirrels hit, a lot of squirrels. And there was a girl, she looks like a squirrel. She I didn't really know what to do. And then I got taken away by the squirrel because she mistaken me for one of the other guys.
Right. Like, where does it even come from?
I think this shit would be hilarious. Like, Damage Control sounds funny as hell.
That might actually be funny. I don't know. Somebody will work with that idea. I know they used to have a comic book back in like the 80s, and like their whole thing was just, after like the Avengers, save the city, and someone's got to go clean the mess up and all that. It's like there used to be something like that. So I don't even know if that book is still going anymore, but that would be a fun idea. It's like
it would work better now though. Like imagine like, during the 2012, like whole thing, Avengers thing, and like they're like flying through, and it's like, so why do you guys keep working? Because they pay me more than $15 an hour. And the other guy's like,
right.
Bro, they don't even pay me $15 an hour. Like,
when he says that, there's another guy in the background like carrying like bricks or something like that, and he turns around, and is like, $15 an hour. He just drops the bricks and starts going after his boss. Like, hold on, I need to come see you. We need to renegotiate this. That guy on TV is making $15 an hour.
I think it'd be, there's so much you could do with like a comedic Damage Control type show, and like have it set for all over. Like they get sent on all different types of like control from like different planets. Is like ever since the existence of the whole wormhole in New York, we now have Damage Control International and Damage Control Galactic.
Look, yeah, and some random guy on a faraway planet, he's just like shoveling debris, and he's like ranting and raving about the Guardians of the Galaxy because like all his jobs are related to damage caused by the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh god!
I guess, what is that? What's the planet that they're on? The Guardians of the Galaxy. What's that planet that they're on?
I don't know, and I honestly I haven't seen the third. I never saw the third movie.
I never saw the third one either.
But yeah, I forgot what, because it seems like they were moving around so much in 1 and 2. I don't even know if they've got like a.
Is it Xandor?
Possibly. I'm actually not sure.
I think it might be Xandor, but I could imagine like one of the dudes on Xandor, and like he's like, I got sent here for, apparently I screwed up on something on a different planet. And he's like fixing it, and then like Thanos comes down, he's like, I don't get paid enough. Just drops his broom.
Thanos comes down, sees his uniform, and recognizes what he's working for, and is like,
he's like, he gives him like $100 to leave.
Right? Yeah, just go ahead and head out, man. Come back later. Don't even worry about all this. It's about to get ugly.
I need to see, like, because there's so much you could do with whether it's a superhero universe, Star Wars universe. I think could be funny as fuck. Like, imagine that kind of damage control, but on like the Empire on the Death Star.
See, I kind of thought about that before. Have this like an episode of? Did you ever watch the Clone Wars?
Yeah,
TV series? Yeah, just have like one episode where it's just like they're on a random ship and like the battle droids are doing kind of what you're saying, like the office type stuff. So you got like the different droids on the ship. They're all talking to each other, like making fun of each other. Or there's like, battle droids talking crap about each other and how they never hit their shots and something like that. But yeah, that would be fun.
You have that one battle droid, like if they had me up there, like he's like,
Right.
he's like mopping. He's like, didn't you get your chance? Well, we don't no.
and then flash back to his first battle. He like screwed everything up and got cut to pieces by a lightsaber.
It was during the fight with Obi-Wan and Grievous, where he just sees the fight and watched Grievous's arm cut up. And he's like, "I'm good." Just dips.
Right. That guy had like 6 lightsabers and he couldn't beat him. What am I gonna do? Well,
one of the droidickies like rolls into them. He's just like, I hate that guy.
And the droid car rolls back. I know that guy hates me. That's why I roll into him every time. F that guy. I do that on purpose.
Oh my god. I'm saying those are the type of stories that we do. Like, I think people would super adore. Whether it doesn't matter where it is. Like, you could even have one of where like a new guy shows up, everybody leaves because for some reason he's just like whatever planet this guy shows up on just happens to get destroyed.
Oh,
They're like, as long as you're not working with Cliff. They're like, who's Cliff? They're like, yeah, every time Cliff works, like the planet dies like 3 days later.
Yeah, we don't talk about Cliff. Just if you know Cliff is there, be somewhere else.
They send Cliff on planet and they send him off, and then 3 days later the planet explodes. One of them, he's like, it didn't even like the last planet didn't even explode. It just disappeared.
Right, like what in the world is Cliff doing to these planets?
just see a planet and it just boop. It's just like we ran out of budget for like all the other ones. I don't know how to destroy it.
What in the world? Oh, Kojima, he's asking about Lower Decks. I never saw Lower Decks. Admittedly, I'm a bit behind on the new kind of crop of Star Trek stuff. I watched Starfleet Academy, but Lower Decks. I enjoyed Starfleet Academy.
I don't know jack shit about Star Trek, so like this is.
So Starfleet Academy takes place about, I think it's like 800 or 900 years after like Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, and kind of things are picking up from there, and they were rebuilding Starfleet Academy, which is basically the academy the Federation uses to train their officers and everything like that. And it was basically in terms of the main characters being Starfleet cadets, it was kind of almost like a college student type situation. They're kind of like college students basically. So they're having their stuff going on, being young adults, and I think that did turn some people off. I personally didn't I didn't care. I enjoyed it and had fun with it, but just the fact of it being like such a young adult focus. So you're talking about kids who were, roughly 19, maybe like 23 or something like that. They're young adult age, but but I did enjoy it, and they were excuse me, and they were cadets. So you're literally talking about them being in class. They're going through. Having had something to the equivalent of like a spring break or a winter break. And of course, they're doing their Star Trek stuff as well, kind of cross with it. So, some people hate it because of that. And they try to say like, oh, it's like if the CW did a Star Trek show. But I thought it was still good, but unfortunately got canceled.
I don't like that term. Like if the CW did blah, 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 because I get it. Like there's definitely, there's definitely positives and negatives to a lot of them. And CW has had some good shows. They have had some stinkers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I feel like just calling it's like calling it like the Concord of fucking channels.
Right. Yeah. Which I hate that people will go and do that now. So it's like every time they game comes along that they do not like, they'll say, "Oh, this is the new Concord." I'm like, I mean,
Like, shut your asses up.
right? Because I mean, people were and of course, revising history, people now don't want to admit that they were hating the game before it even came out. So now everybody's trying to pretend like, "Oh yeah, we didn't start hating until no, you were hating it ever since God knows when." And then Hygar got the same treatment. As soon as that trailer finished playing at the Game Awards, people were already yelling about it and hating it. So
No, it doesn't surprise me at all, though. Like, it doesn't surprise me at all. Every single time that we get a chance to get something different, and it might not always pan out. And I think there's some valid criticism of Highguard. Absolutely. But when you go on like some sort of smear campaign trying to get this game to fail just so you can be like, haha, we told you so, then don't be surprised when they don't try to make games like those anymore and you just get the same regurgitated mess.
right, like they don't see that those games can be the stepping stone to true experimentation.
Yes.
Budget starting to come down, because then that would teach them, like, or the publishers of like, hey, we don't need to spend $500 million to make a decent game anymore. Oh, we just did it with like $90 million or something like that.
And that's the thing is, like, I think a lot of gamers just want the slop. They do. They want it. They want to keep their stuff as it is. Granted, if it's exclusive or whatever the fuck, something new comes around, they don't want it. But there's a lot of gamers that will sit there and say that they just want to continue the same broken rhetoric over and over and over and over. And then when it doesn't hit, when they like, well, we don't get anything new. We don't get anything. I'm like, because you scared them all away.
Right. They want the same regurgitated slop, but then they'll turn around 3 months later. Gaming is dead. Gaming's not as good as it used to be. Well, people are scared to experiment now.
Well, it's like, are you more worried about games being quote unquote good, or are you worried about yourself being validated on what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to a lot of them. It's like I think a lot of people are really validated. They would rather be validated or feel validated rather than actually being okay with the fact that not every game's gonna come out going to be for you. Not every game that's going to come out is going to be amazing. Not every game's going to come out and you're going to want. Because there's a lot of games that come out that I don't want, and I'm fine with it. I don't want it. But it's like it came out and it's there for someone.
Right. They don't understand. Yeah, that variance there where you can just say, 20 games come out this month. Oh, I like these 5, but don't care about those other 15. Well, then the next guy might say, well, I like these other 5, and so forth. It's like they can't. I think it's like you said about the validation and I think some of it is even got to the point where their sense of fun is derived from that validation. So it's like they won't play high guard because they don't want to admit that maybe they'll have fun with it, or they don't want to face the rest of the mob. Like, I watched this one creator, a streamer, about a couple of weeks ago, where he was literally sitting there talking about how, he had a little bit of fun playing. I think he was talking about high guard, where he had some fun playing it, but he would play it off stream in his own personal time, kind of because he didn't want to deal with people coming after him and being hateful just because he's playing high guard. So that's the state we're in now, where it's like streamers and content creators have to mold their content around people around, like, not angering their fan base or trying to avoid the torches and the pitchforks. It's like,
right,
like let let the guy play high guard one night a week, and it's just, or whenever he plays high guard, it's just okay. Well, I won't watch that stream. I'll come back when he plays something else. But no, yeah, streamers that are scared to play certain things because they don't want their fan base to get mad at them.
Mm-hmm. No, there are streamers that'll definitely swap out games because they don't want them to get pissed. And it's kind of a weird way of thinking. It's a weird way of thinking to me, because it's like, I think if you are built and you're authentic, it shouldn't matter the game that you're playing. Later, Kojima, but it shouldn't matter what you guys are playing. You should be able to, if you're not a fan, like, hey, you're playing high guard, I don't like high guard. Okay, cool. Then you don't have to watch the stream.
Exactly.
But there's also a sense of entitlement when it does come for streamers, that like they feel like they're owed something about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it gets difficult for people, because it's like, on one hand, I want to go and be able to play what I want and have fun with it, and there's some games for me too that I have that are just offline games. I don't play them online, not because I don't want to, just because I don't think they're gonna make any kind of good content. Like, I love Mirror's Edge, and I had actually quite a few people watch me, but I didn't think it was going to make very good content at all, because it's just an older game. Like, they're going to come by, see the nostalgia, and then move on.
Right, yeah.
But I think if you are afraid to play a game because you're afraid of what the backlash of that game could be, then does that say something more on you as a person? That I don't know. It's a weird feeling to me, because I've never just not played a game because my audience doesn't want me to. But I also don't have like money up the ass coming through.
Right. Yeah.
I'm playing, why not?
And I think that's kind of I hate to say, like, the upper tier types of streamers where, they've got like $50,000 on Twitch, they've got 40,000 on TikTok, and like, whatever thousand on YouTube, and like they're a full-time streamer. And I've noticed that it kind of seems like sometimes, like, as someone grows as a streamer and they're getting more and more of a following, they kind of have to narrow down what they play, and eventually it just becomes the only thing they're streaming. At least they might play offline, like you're just talking about, but it comes to on stream, they're only playing whatever's popular at the moment. And I don't think I couldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't want to get to that place where it's like, like, oh, I've got to play Resident Evil 9 because that's popular right now, or I have to play Crimson Desert because that's what's popular right now. Like, I want to play Crimson Desert because, oh, I like it, I have fun with it, I want to play through it as much as possible. Or, I like Resident Evil 9, so I want to go play that. And then whoever watches, or whoever doesn't. But yeah, when you start getting to that pressure of you have to pick a certain game because of your audience, that feels weird to me.
Yeah, that's the same for me too. I think it feels really odd, and just it leads to a very unfun space.
Exactly.
Because if it's a game that, like, y'all want me to really play Crimson Desert, but I'm just like, I don't want to play Crimson Desert, but I'll do it for audience, then it bleeds. It bleeds in. I've said on my own lives, I'm like, you guys can, like, I know people can tell when I'm not interested. Like, if, like, I've had people where there's talks with people and I'm sitting there like, I am not interested in anything that you're saying. Like,
yeah.
Same thing with playing a game. Like, you ever play a game when you're just like, bro, I am not having a good time, but I have to sit on here for like 2 hours and make myself look like I'm having a good time.
See, I couldn't do it. I would have to be like, yeah, we're about to change.
Oh my god,
this
this
game
fish! Do you love fishing? This fish game? Like, that would be me the entire time playing Twilight Princess and just catching different Hyrulean bass.
There you go. Yeah, just you turned into a fishing simulator because you didn't like the rest of the game or something like that. But
dude, I can't. I'm so picky with games too. Like, I am. I'm really picky with what I play. Like, I know you mentioned before about like not being able to play open worlds, like, or not, like, being kind of limited on the open worlds, I should say.
mm-hmm.
I feel that because, like, I was actually talking about Borderlands 4, and I love Borderlands 4.
Okay.
Borderlands 4 has a all open world, and I'm just like, I kind of like the semi-open better.
Right.
Like, is that the same way for you?
Um, I could go with it either way. I think it's just a matter of when it comes to open world, it's like how much of what's in the world with it being so open. Like to
Mm,
me, like Skyrim, like Skyrim or even Oblivion, where you've got the open RPG world, so you can go just to this random village, this random cave. Oh, there's this dungeon, and I can really get into that. In fact, I've been kind of feeling like playing Skyrim again lately. I might do that, but then at the same time, you had Breath of the Wild, talking about Zelda, couldn't do it. Put 20 hours into Breath of the Wild, convince him it's like, I'm a longtime Legend of Zelda fan. There's no way I'm gonna dislike this game. And I ended up putting like 20, 25 hours into it, and I was just like, yeah, I can't do this anymore.
that's fair.
Yeah. And but yeah, when it comes to open world stuff, it's just like I can't just go pick them all up anymore. It's like I would have to pick and choose which ones. Like I say at this point right now, probably the last open world that I really got into was Ghost of Tsushima. And I had a lot of fun with that one. That was really fun. But gosh, that's been what, 5-6 years ago now. So
yeah, and like have you played Ghost of Yote yet?
I have not played Yote. No.
I've been wanting to play Yote. I just wonder if you played it yet. But yeah, I kind of feel that same way, where it's like there come to a point where an open world to me can be fun. I think I've just gotten to where I've started playing multiple games where like I prefer a little more contained worlds. The only time I like really open is if it's like Metroidvanias. Prince of Persia, games like that, like the Prince of Persia and Lost Crown and stuff. Those Metroidvania ones can be open because they're you're building your path, you're going all the other kind of stuff. That's fun. But if a game's just like Horizon or Far Cry, etc., they can be fun, but I have to be in the mood to play them. Like
See, I really enjoyed the first Horizon. Still haven't played the second one yet, but yeah, it's just kind of like I can't just do that all the time. I guess you could almost say that open world's a genre at this point, at least. And just like it's like, and especially now where it feels like I haven't even played a lot of recent open world games, but it feels like a lot of them, it seems like they're almost artificially inflated now, to where it's like the last few was some of one of the Assassin's Creed games. Like what was it? I can't remember if it was Valhalla or Odyssey, one of those, where it was like, if in order to do everything, you legitimately would need like 90 or 100 hours to do everything in the game. And I stare at those, and it's just like, it feels like they're just being padded now, to where it's like intentionally just throwing stuff in there just to make you take a long time to finish it. And maybe that's what's starting to turn some people off from open world. But yeah, I can do open world, but they have to be few and far between.
I think when it comes to, like you mentioned, with that feeling of open world and being padded, I think that also is a good indicator is if a game feels overall like it feels like a game should never feel padded. Like they should never feel like they're adding stuff just to add stuff. It should always feel like, damn, this is like every place that I go should feel like a new adventure. Elden Ring does that, I think, really well. I don't know if you've played Elden Ring at all, but that one does it really well. At least to me, where I was playing it all over, and then eventually I got to the point where I was playing fuck its name. I have to go with Crimson Desert, but there's another one I can't think of the top of my head that was like an open world-ish that I seem to enjoy. But I think I've noticed I like the semi-open ones. Give me areas where they're open, but more than likely I want my adventure like this, especially if it's story heavy.
I can give you with that,
and not GTA. I can't do GTA, man. I really can't.
Gosh, the last one I played was like 4. Yeah, Yeah, I'm not that huge in GTA, but I know the world's gonna be on fire when 6 comes out, and that's all people are gonna talk about for at least a few months,
Yep. Yeah.
assuming it's actually good.
Wait until you see the like 0 out of 10s. This game is fucking garbage. It's no different. It's worse than 5. Like,
Right. Yeah, there's gonna be some contrarian opinion out there. They're gonna, like you said, they're gonna give it a negative 1 out of 10 just for the attention.
yep.
And that's almost as annoying as the people that are gonna give it like a 500 out of 10. It's the
Does this
best
game
game
live
ever.
up to the hype? Well, go check it out here in my 6-minute review.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
it is.
man.
It's crazy. Like, I saw one review, and it was from Crimson Desert, and this person was like, gave it a 0 out of 10, I guess, because it didn't have like LGBTQ representation, which I don't know. I haven't played this whole game, so I have no clue.
Mhm.
But I was like, even if this person, because they're like, oh, it's satire, and I was like, okay, well, even if it's true, like, y'all are like, you're this magazine, like, I forgot there's like 2 magazines, or not magazines, but 2 like different news articles, gaming news articles that were running with it. And I was like, why? Like, don't give this attention. Like, if this is like is this bad for you? Like, I mean, I like having representation in my games, so I like people
Right.
feeling included. If they don't feel included in this game, then I guess I would just suggest playing a different one. But
Right. I mean, there's definitely a time and a place on the inclusion conversation, but yeah, to try and make that a satire piece, I don't even
yeah,
I don't even know why you would do that.
well, you're doing it to try to bring up. I think you're doing it because you want to get people to be like, oh my god, this is, look at how crazy the woke left is.
I Whew, yeah, that's a whole nother basket of apples because
It's it's an annoying basket of apples, because it's a constant thing to deal with. Like, if you're not making woke content, then what are you doing?
right, everything is woke now. It's it's like that's become the new I don't like it. It's woke.
Yeah, no, pretty much. Like, it did become the new, like, it's woke, bro. Like, I don't know why you like this stuff, and it's like, what is it? They're just trying to indoctrinate me. Like,
Old tinfoil
uh,
hat nonsense.
do you think Keanu Reeves would play a great Darth Revan?
Revan.
That's an interesting one, Paula.
I'm trying to picture Keanu Reeves as like an evil Jedi, and that already looks like an interesting picture to me.
It does look like an interesting one. Could he play it? I think he could, but I'm gonna, Paula. I'll be honest. I don't know if I want him to. I don't think I'd want him to. I think I'd want some sort of like different like an unknown actor to play as Revan to really get that role of it. Otherwise, it's just John Wick in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and that's actually because what I was about to, like, it's gonna be basically evil John Wick or evil Neo or something like that.
Yeah, I think it would be really interesting. And if you've watched the trailer for Maul Shadow Lords, do you think the pink Twi'lek will become Darth Talon? I haven't seen the trailer. Have you?
I don't think I have, because, or at least I haven't seen that trailer with a pink Twi'lek. I would remember that, but let's see. I thought Darth Talon was from the past. I didn't think she was around during like the times of, I guess that would be during the reign of the Empire, because the Darth Maul show is going to be like during the reign of the Empire.
Oh, it dropped like 2 weeks ago. Oh, damn! It's that close.
Well, that's right, because usually when Star Wars is going to drop a new show, they usually try to drop something around May the 4th. Usually, May the 4th be with you and all that. So Shadow Lords might actually be the one that gets dropped around May the 4th. So yeah, that could be Shadow Lords. I didn't even think about that.
That would, yeah, I could. I mean, that would be kind of cool though. I mean, Disney's been kind of redoing some stuff anyway, so I wouldn't actually mind it. Also, Paula mentioned I heard that Abeloth might be coming to Ahsoka season 2, and Natalie Portman might be returning as Padme. Abeloth will take her form to deceive Anakin. Wow!
Whoa, that would be crazy.
That would be wild.
And not even just for the Abeloth thing, but to like bring Portman back like that. That'd be a cool idea, though. I like that.
Oh, her actually, it's Abeloth instead. Yeah, I can see like. I think it'd be really. It's one of those moments where I see like her talking, and like one of the characters looks in the mirror and they just see the teeth just like pulled back or whatever, and they're like, "Holy shit, this isn't her." Like that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because wasn't Abeloth is powerful as fuck, if I remember right.
Yeah, she's pretty much like a cosmic entity when it comes to like her power in the Force. Like that's one reason, because I know people have been talking about, they want to talking about horror again, like see more horror related Star Wars content, and Abeloth would definitely fall into that. But my only worry is, if you bring in something that powerful, how do you beat it? How do you defeat it so that it is not around anymore? Like, what's the end game for something that powerful in the Star Wars universe?
Right. Because you don't want to nerf Abeloth. Like, the last thing you want to do is nerf a character that is known for being ridiculous. This is why I'm glad they never include what's his name? Starkiller. Because if you brought in video game Starkiller, he's fucking everybody up.
Right. Like, yeah, what would you even do with Starkiller?
I can imagine Anakin crying, thinking it's really Padme, and then you just see the true form as Abeloth. Like Abeloth's knowing of the chosen one. Like, I don't know where you would put this though. Like, where would you? This is an interesting one, Paula. I'm actually glad that you're talking about this. Where would you set this up? Because I don't know where you set this up at. Like, do you set this up? Do you set this up after the events of the second of the new trilogy? Do you know? Because it's like where.
Well, I mean, if we were to do something where the Abeloth for some reason comes after Anakin, it would have to be somewhere between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, because we all know that at the end of the original trilogy, Anakin he dies, and then at the end of the prequel trilogy is where he first became Darth Vader. So if the Abeloth were, I guess maybe if and I've forgotten now of the Ahsoka series that takes place after Return of the Jedi? Yeah, after Return of the Jedi, because it takes place alongside The Mandalorian. Okay. I guess you could maybe do something where the Abeloth would appear to Luke or Leia after the events of Return of the Jedi, and they would come to her, looking like their mother, although
Abeloth is looking for both of them.
Yeah, and she could, and I can imagine the Abeloth, being able to take Padme's form and kind of give that like presence that could trick Luke into thinking for at least a few minutes that's Padme.
I mean, he's a Force ghost, right? Yeah, he's a Force ghost now. So, like, especially unless they did. Ooh, I just thought about this. What if they do hit the character? What if you do the character somewhere in between his own series, featuring when they always wanted to do Sebastian Stan to be Luke? That could always be a possibility in there. Or, like I said, you do this afterwards, where what's her name? Set up in the world between worlds. That could work. Abeloth is trying to get back to, I don't know exactly the world between worlds, but it seems like it's like it's kind of a multiverse type thing.
Right.
So like her trying to get back into this world. Or like I said, you could do this during the events of later on with, honestly, at this point you bring in Ray. Ray obviously still is finishing her training up with Luke, right? Finishing a
Mhm.
bit of the training up with Luke, and Luke is the one who's like, you know, he mentions something. He can mention something about her in one of the books where she, she's like, I need to find someone, and she goes, "Who is this?" And she points the book out to Luke, and he says something like, "I didn't think you'd find this one," you know. And she's like, "Oh, you sealed away this person." Like she's thinking that Abeloth is a victim, not an actual but not understanding who Abeloth actually is.
Okay, now that would be interesting. And then the Abeloth kind of starts to worm its way into Rey, almost like it's about to take the same path that Palpatine
Mm,
groomed and took over and brought in Anakin. The Abeloth is, looks like she's about to set up the same thing to do that to Rey. And I
yeah,
get,
I
you
mean,
could do something like that.
yeah, you could do something like that. I think it'd be interesting seeing Abeloth be a character that is like kind of aggressive towards Luke and stuff, but is like playing it off of Ray being like, I was the victim. It was it was my children and my children and the
Mm,
father that was the one that did this to me. You know, so that she's thinking that this is a something an issue. It could also work in the Ahsoka series too, where Ahsoka looks at her like this is not right. We shouldn't be doing this to her,
right.
you know. And when the father and the son and the daughter are like, you have no idea what you just unleashed. She's like, oh, it's your mother, and they're like, that is not our mother.
Right.
Like whatever that is worse. And I don't think you should ever actually, you can show like an avatar for her, but not her actual being.
Maybe even have it rotate through different forms where it
Mm,
does something like it could take on the form of, like, I guess maybe with her, with Abeloth's, like, one of her powers is like she could take on the form of like dead force users. So she might look like Qui-Gon, might look like uh
yeah.
it might even look like Anakin Skywalker himself, or even Palpatine, and
And
go
I,
through something like that.
it would have to be at a moment too, especially if you're dealing with the Ahsoka setup, where Ahsoka is like at her lowest right now. And so
Right.
she sees Anakin and he's like, she's like, you're a force ghost? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, and as they keep talking, because she remembers that time of the world between worlds. And she's like, you're not Anakin. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, Anakin is in the world between worlds. There's no way you can be Anakin. And she's like, you just see Anakin like, clever. Like, he's like, the chosen one must have trained you well. And that's when you just see her transform into Padme. And as Padme, she's just sitting there with like very, very calmly sitting, like not much as like on like a stool, like not a stool, but like a log or something like that. And she has her lightsabers up and she's like, put those away. And she just watched the lightsaber just go right back into the hilt.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know that you can't beat her.
See, yeah, that's the only thing that concerns me. I say, yeah, how would you do that end game? Like, maybe, and I just thought about this, like your idea with the avatars and everything. Maybe have, you might have to come up with a new character, but have like an actual person who has been influenced by the Abeloth, and it like she has full control of them, or maybe they choose to obey her on their own, and they acting through this new character, and this character has like all this knowledge and wisdom about Padme, or about this or whatever, and that person gets a hold of us of Ahsoka and starts kind of worming their way into it. And then maybe as you see over time, it's like the Abeloth's true, the Abeloth is in control or something like that, to where the Abeloth never actually appears before Ahsoka to even, so you don't have to worry about could Ahsoka beat the Abeloth. It's just like the Abeloth's Avatar or Thrall or whatever.
Yeah, and she's just like, I'll be waiting. You know what I mean? And like, it could be even something as far as or was it is it Urza or Ezra?
Oh,
Like
from
her and Ezra
Rebels.
are actually dealing with the fact of it. You know,
Mhm.
so it could be multiple, and also it could delve more into Ahsoka's past, where she takes the form of I believe she's a Twi'lek, isn't she? Or what is Ahsoka?
I always forget her speech. She's not a Twi'lek, even though she does have like
Yeah,
something like that, but it's not the same as what the Twi'leks have.
would
I
that be
forgot her
interesting, wouldn't it?
species.
Like not a Twilight, but like whatever her species is, and she looks at her like with like she's like she like knows who the person is, and so
Mhm.
she's coming out to the people. She's like Abeloth is using her force ability to find the people that she's missing, the people they're missing most, and that's how she
Mm.
worms her way into them by coming as someone from their past that they are missing the most.
Yep, you could do
And
that.
it starts with it for her. It's actually at that point, it's not Anakin. It's like one of her relatives or something,
True. Okay.
you
Yeah.
know. And when she's like, "Let me try," and you know, and Abeloth is like, let me try again," and then she turns into Anakin, and she's like, "I know that's just not you. You know, I know it can't be because I don't think she would be fooled multiple times."
Right. Yeah. You'd have to maybe do something like where
And
the
that's why
apple. Mhm.
she's like, "Well, I was going to use Anakin, but I figured you've already dealt with that." And
Mhm.
so, you know, she sits there and she sets up where she's like, I can bring her back. You know, like let's I don't know if it's like Ahsoka has a sister or something like that, where she's like,
Mm.
I can bring them back. I can bring Anakin back. I can bring them all. She's like, I have this power. She's like,
Mhm.
she's like, you know, and she's like, what do you need? And she's like, I need my family. And just that alone is like that leads up into the whole, you know, the son, the daughter, and the father. It leads to all of it. So I think
Right.
it could be done. I think it could be really done. I think it'd be really, really cool. Now that I think about it, really fucking cool.
Right. That would be. Yeah. You could pull that off. I take it there because yeah, and then you get around the fact of like you get away from the possibility of having Ahsoka versus the Abeloth directly because there's no way Ahsoka is gonna beat the Abeloth. But so yeah, you can avoid that hiccup.
Yeah, and I think it'd be interesting enough where when it fails with Ahsoka and she just kind of like she's just little like she's not even mad. Like Abeloth isn't even upset. She's just like, it's fine. She gets up and she's like, I guess I'll just go try with someone else, and then just disappears.
Yeah,
Like
and yeah,
there's it's like it doesn't even mean anything to her, but that scares the living shit out of Ahsoka. Where it's like, I need to figure out how to stop her, and that could lead into a whole arc of that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it could be done easily.
Okay, that's fair.
I,
That's fair.
yeah, I want to see it. I want to see this now.
Right, I can watch this now. I can
I
watch
could
it
watch this. But before we go, because I appreciate you being here,
oh, no problem. Anytime, man. Anytime.
I love just bullshitting. So, like, two questions always. One, where can these people find you?
All right. So, nice people, you can find me mostly on YouTube at Jolly Yellow Nerd. You can also find me at TikTok, Jolly Yellow Nerd, and Tales from the Beyond. I'm sorry, Transmissions from the Beyond. I forgot to change the name. So, those are my three main places where I hang out. So, two places on TikTok, one place on YouTube. Most things that I do and create, I'll end up on all three of them, but YouTube is my baby right now.
Makes sense. Probably why I haven't seen you as much on TikTok lately.
Yeah, mostly just throwing little bits here and there while I try to work on YouTube and get it up a little bit stronger.
That makes sense. And the last question I have is the same question I have for pretty much everybody. What does nerd culture mean to you?
Ooh, nerd culture. To me, nerd culture is that place where you get to do those things that normal society frowns upon, where you can sit down and just be all about this particular show or this anime, or maybe the styles of cosplay, or a certain, like I said, a certain property or fandom, where you just have the space and the freedom, or you should have the space and the freedom to enjoy it as openly as you want to, as long as you're not hurting others. Right now, nerd culture is in a very wicked place where there are a lot of people who are not able to enjoy it as they should be able to freely. And we, as a whole, nerd culture, need to do something for those folks, because I know still came across my mind earlier today with the cosplayer, this young black woman cosplayer, about a month, it was like earlier this year, where she was bullied to the point of taking her own life. And that shouldn't be happening. She should have been able to just, that kid should have been planning out her 2026 cosplay schedule, not planning out taking her life. And that shit bothers. And people have been so disgusting about even that. When people can't even be basically, basic human decency for a person who is at the edge like that, and they still act like jerks towards them. I like to defend the nerd the nerd community, nerd culture, but I can understand why people have problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
We are not sending our best, but no. Once nerd culture is truly free, I think it'll be a beautiful place.
Understandable. I like that one. That was a good one. I love answering that question because I like get different answers, but I like
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And for everybody else, you guys know where you can catch me. You can catch me on TikTok. You can catch me on YouTube. You can catch me over on Twitch as well. All three of those are my primary ones. See, that's where you'll catch me from. Instagram, you can also catch a lot of the clips that come through on there as well. Same with Threads and Facebook. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for today. Because I was gonna make a big thing out of it, but I decided not to.
No problem. No problem, man.
I appreciate you being here. Thanks again, man.
Anytime. Call me up whenever you need me, man.
We'll probably be doing another one with you, me, and Captain again soon. So
I love that guy.
He's fucking great. For everybody else, remember, I'm Taylor from Afro OG, and I'll catch you all the next one.